I know you lived in Indiana for a while, of course.
I'm an adopted Hoosier.
Yeah, but he's here to help Kyle Larson. I want to go back and I want to get what advice would you have for Kyle after the first go-round? What's the difference for him that you've noticed that he can improve on, other than weather, which you can't control?
Yeah, you don't want to give a guy like Kyle Larson a second chance at something to only get better at. And I think that's what we're seeing is, I know practice qualifying didn't go the way that they wanted to, but I've seen since he's been in the race practices and in the car set up in that mode, he's been aggressive, he's been learning, and I think that you're going to see an even more poised Kyle Larson today in the Indy 500.
Yeah, and he's physically fit, Tony. That's something you talked about when you did it. Things are a little bit different, but you have to admire at least.
What do you mean? This is the most fit guy I ever raced against.
To go to Long's Bakery and Charlie Brown's for breakfast. Right. I'm definitely fit for that. No, I think the great thing about Kyle, and I got a chance the opportunity to talk to him earlier this week, and I wanted to know his comfort level, because in the Cup cars, we didn't have a lot of things that we could do to help ourselves out. We didn't have the tools with sway bars, front rear sway bars, and weight jackers, and fuel trim, all the things that they have to do. And talking to Kyle this week, that was one thing that I noticed a big difference. I said, how comfortable are you with what you have inside the car to work with? And he's way more comfortable this year, so I think that gives him a big advantage on a day like today.
Yeah, and Kyle's so nonchalant about the effort that he puts in. It's like, whatever, it's this, it's that. He puts a tremendous amount of effort into all the details that it takes on the Cup side and on the IndyCar side. He learns really quick. He retains that information and he applies it, as good as anybody. Maybe as good as this guy. Yeah, as far as hopping from car to car, these two are the best I've ever seen do it.
Yeah, he has a target. We're going to welcome in Danica Patrick. And Danica, get your thoughts on maybe just the Jupiter Bowl Series 2, Racing Bowl Series, the challenge you see for Kyle Larson, and now he's got at least the experience of being here once before.
Yeah, I'm sure that feels good for Kyle to just have an idea of what's going to happen today. But look, the cars are quite different in some ways. In an IndyCar, everything is happening so quick, all the way from the green flag, getting flat on the throttle so you can get down into turn one and get a run on people, to the fact that the lane is a one-lane track. It's like threading the needle here at 230 miles an hour. Then jump over to stock cars and you got a nice rolling start. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's a different kind of energy. And then the race, it changes so much from the beginning to end. You're searching for grip the whole race, and in fact the whole track rubbers in, which is so different than here at Indianapolis. So I think this is a good setup. If it's going to be one race before another, I think it's great that it's the Indy 500 first. Be sharp, then go do what you normally do, Kyle. Go find the grip. Look, if there's one thing Kyle Larson has proven, it's that he can drive any race car.
And Danica, I think when you listen to Tony and Jeff talk about what Kyle is doing in the cockpit with the controls, I see a three-step process. In year one, Kyle wasn't sure. He didn't trust the adjustments in the race car. He just did the driving part. Now year two, he understands what the controls do. The question I have, will he anticipate the balance needs of his race car before the car tells him that it needs changes? That's the key to success here, is being able to predict where the balance is going to go and adjust your car before it gets there.
One thing we can't predict, of course, always is the weather. It hamstrung Kyle Larson last year, and I can tell you, Chris, as I send it back to you, spits and spots of rain down here on the start-finish stretch.
Oh, thanks, Will. Will the weatherman. I don't want to hear that report, but hopefully they'll keep rolling through.